Northwest home for paranormal. You're listening to U.S. Phenomenon with your host, Mario Magana.
Pacific Northwest in the shadow of the 1962 World's Fair, this space, good evening. I'm your host, Mario Magana. This is U.S. Phenomenon. If you are watching us on Facebook Live, welcome. If you're watching us on YouTube Live, welcome. If you're watching us on Twitch Live, welcome. Thank you for watching us. You can go to my website, onairmario.com, to subscribe to our podcast and listen to anything that you may have missed in our live show or our radio experience program. Thank you for joining us. Happy New Year's. As things have been drastically changing in the last, everyone just celebrated Christmas. We're in the middle of Hanukkah. We're in day 3 of the Festival of Lights. Happy Kwanzaa for those that are celebrating. But let's go to breaking news right now. Are we ready for this? Are we ready for what has become all I want for Christmas is the 51st state? Are we ready for that? Are you ready for that? So Donald Trump, President-elect Donald Trump, has taken to his platform, his social platform, in a couple lengthy tweets, lengthy posts, mocking or wishing a Merry Christmas to all, including the wonderful people of China who are lovely but illegally operating the Panama Canal. He also referred to the Americans' lives that were lost during the construction more than over 100 years ago. The United States put a lot of money in repair and absolutely has nothing in regards to this. President-elect Donald Trump also mocked Justin Trudeau, who referred to him as governor, and suggests once again that the United States could annex Canada as the 51st state. Let that sink in for a moment. The United States could annex Canada as the 51st state. He wrote, if Canada was to become the 51st state, their taxes would be cut by more than 60%. Their businesses would immediately double in size, and they would be militarily protected like no other country around the world. Trump continued his post by addressing the people of Greenland, in which is needed by the United States for national security purposes. Let that sink in for a second. And wants the U.S. to be there and will. Trump also said in another post that he encourages professional hockey star Wayne Gretzky to run for Prime Minister of Canada. But Gretzky has no interest. Okay, these were all Trump's social posts yesterday. Let's take a look at that. What does that look like for the United States and Canada? What are we looking at here? What does this mean for Canada? What does this mean for the United States? What are we looking at here? What does this look like? We know that the population of Canada is, before we get into all of that, let me remind you that we are live on all of our platforms, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch Live. Now, if you would like to be a part of the show, you can send your comments via text 775-990-5151. We'll read those on air. And if you have a chance, you can also leave your comments on our websites or whatever social platform you are watching us. And you can leave us a message or a comment, all right? Super easy to do. Just go to the platform and say hello. Let us know where you're coming from, and we'll go from there. So a lot. Here we go. There you go. StreamYard says that live comments can be by Anyhow, let me get back to the topic at hand. Are you ready for Canada to be the 51st state? Are you ready for the United States to annex Canada as the 51st state? Now, we know that maybe you don't know this, but Canada's population is approximately 39.93 million as of December 2024. It ranks 38th in the world's population. Now, the total area of Canada is about 3,855,000 1,100 square miles, making it the second largest country in the world by total area after Russia. Now, let that sink in for a hot second. Okay. That is wild to me. Texts are starting to come in at 775-990-5151. We have Justin in Puyallup says, hello. Thank you for being on this evening. Hey, it's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you for hanging out with us. Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Merry Christmas to all of those who did you have a great Christmas? Did you enjoy your Christmas? I mean, can you imagine if the United States had a new state, the 51st would be Canada? So the economics of this, what does that look like for the United States? We feel like this is a land grab? Is there something else going on that we don't know of? Is this a reach? Is this in preparation for a World War III? We don't know. Is this something that is being, do you feel like this would be a land grab? Is this something that for resources purposes that the United States has taxed its limit and needs the resources of Canada to continue to be a superpower? Would this make the United States a mega power? Would this make this the ultimate superpower, having this much land, does this tax the United States in regards to resources, taxes, and things of that nature? Does this help the economy? What does this put the United States? Why does the United States need Canada? Why do we need to annex it? Is it for these other purposes that could be in preparation for another war, or is this because the United States needs resources? I don't really know, but it was quite interesting to hear these texts. Some of the things that we do know about Canada is that they do have certain resources, and here's what they are. Well, I got to find out again because I lost him. Let's stand by. Where did it go? Oh, it's right here. So Canada has natural resources rich in minerals like iron, nickel, zinc, copper, gold. So these could help. Energy. The country produces oil, natural gas, and hydropower. Agriculturally, Canada is a major export of wheat, canola, and other grains. Okay. Forestry, timber, wood products are significant exports. Manufacturing Canada produces machinery, equipment, and consumer goods. So it's interesting to me. So definitely would help. It would help the economy. It would continue to help us continue to push forward. This then covers Canada on a level that would be protected by the United States militarily. Does that tax our military strength, the resources of our military, having to cover this extra land that was not something that we had to cover prior to the annex, if that's even a thing? So the United States becomes, so in reference, let's say Canada becomes the 51st state. Now we have to have resources allocated for Canada, right? In case something happens. This means now, are we putting bases on Canada? Are we going to do a co-op with a lot of the other of Canadian military installations with U.S. Forces? Things to think about how that would look for the United States. This would be huge. I mean, think of how that would look for the United States. And then continuing to help local businesses. I know that the economy in Canada is really taxed right now, and they're struggling to get things done. I know that they have an election coming up in the fall of 2025, which would probably change their prime minister and maybe change how their economy looks into a different projection. Just interesting thoughts to me. I thought it would be interesting to kind of talk about these things and what it looks like for Canada moving forward. 775-990-5151 as we continue to take text. If you're listening, watching us on our Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch Live, thank you for watching and hanging out with us tonight. When I saw this news, I was like, I got to do a show on this. Not something that we would typically. I mean, you cover it, right? And that's what this show's about. We cover all these different things, and this one to me is quite interesting because we haven't done anything like this in a while. We haven't added an extra state. I mean, think about this. We're thinking about having Canada annex to be the 51st state when we can't even do that to Puerto Rico. What do you think Puerto Ricans are thinking right now? Like, what about us? What about us? You know, really an interesting land grab to me. Just an interesting thought of political power. What does this look like for us in the next 4 years? What does this look like? What this administration is going to do in the next 4? And then after that, once Trump leaves office, that transition to possibly electing a new president because his term will be ended, that will put J.D. Vance in probably, the driver's seat. Now, it will be, I think when we think about this, it really goes back to legacy in Trump's presidency that we're going to see in this one term. In 4 years, you're going to look at something that is going to be this will all be covered in our prediction show that's coming up this week. The podcast is available if you're interested in listening to our prediction show with Mark Jacobson, who is an author and a former journalist. Let's be honest, journalists never retire. His book, he's wrote many books. A horse rider in regards to William Cooper, who wrote the book Behold the Pale Horse. And there's me. And when we think about this, we covered a ton of topics. What does it look like for the year 2025 under this new administration? But look, to be honest with you, I think you're going to see an administration hit the ground running. They know what they want to do. They know what they need to do. This is all about his legacy. Nothing more than that. He's going to want to leave a mark in history to be the greatest presidency in modern day history. And if that means it's going to be changing how things look for us as a country, in regards to maybe it's adding Canada as a 51st state, maybe it is controlling the canal, maybe it is, maybe not controlling the canal, but having a new agreement with Panama in regards to the canal, and maybe there is some agreement reached with Greenland and Denmark in regards to protecting Greenland. Something else is going on, but these are things that you're looking at a new administration about to come into office and is going to look at things that are going to change history. Modern day history is going to look massively different when we move forward with this new administration. And that means stuff like this, we're looking at, things that we haven't even talked about. I don't ever remember having conversations of saying, oh yeah, that's cool, we're going to have another state, or what is going on? Why do we need to add a 51st state? These are all, wild things to us, but is it really wild? Is it something that is extremely far-fetched? When we look at this administration running, just getting so far ahead of itself before the election or before the inauguration, moving forward and getting things done in a fast pace. They've already been there. A lot of the administration knows exactly what's going on. They know how to run the White House. Yes, it's going to be a newer team that's going to come into it. And the transition of power is going to be quick. And we're going to see an administration hit the ground running in the first 100 days in office. It's going to be vastly different. They're going to know what they're doing in regards to good, bad, or indifferent. And when you think this could be a country working with Canada to help their economy, but to help the United States economy, but it really, let's be honest. What is it for us that is at stake, right? What is it for us that we need? Is it is it is it Canada? Is it Greenland? Are these things that the United States really needs to move forward? Is the United States in a place where it is looking at other options to continue to evolve as a country? Does this bother you that they may add this as a state? Are you like, why do we need Canada as to be annexed to be a part of the United States? Why can't we just have another new free trade agreement or an agreement that is met between the United States and Canada that is fair for both sides, and Mexico included? How does that look for our country? You can send your text or you can call us at 775-990-5151. We have, who is that? Derek in not Puyallup. He's in Buckley. Thank you for watching us. He says he thinks that Canada being annexed would be beneficial for the United States to get these two countries to combine to help the resources of the Canadian economy that is drowning. This gives an economic boost to them, and it gives them some security. Let's be honest. I mean, has the United States always been the country to protect this hemisphere? I mean, we know that there's a co-op in regards to it, but we know that the United States, at least we think that, right? We think that the United States has got it handled. So I just thought it'd be fun to come on and chat about this. And I was like, when I saw it, I was like, oh, we definitely need to cover this. Are you ready? Is it that you want on your wish list to have 51 states? Can you imagine having Canada as a state? Now, when I think about it, I'm like, huh, okay. You can send us your messages if you like, but think about this. Canada is square miles, 3,855,100 square miles, making it the second largest country in the world, totaled by area after Russia. Think about that. This is the second largest country in the world by total area after Russia. Now, if you're thinking about this, you're like, okay. So what is this? You're like, okay, this, to me, I interpret this as a good opportunity for the United States to look bigger, to puff up our chest, to look like a larger supergiant superpower. I mean, I can't think of any other reason why the United States would be doing something like this. Because in modern day history, most of these types of things have been worked out in some type of free trade agreement between the United States, the NAFTA agreement, these other free trade agreements that were worked out between Canada, the United States, and Mexico. And clearly these aren't working for the United States. You're talking about a guy who is a businessman who's going to be running the country again, looking to make changes. Like I said, this administration is going to be moving very fast, very swiftly to get things done. The first 100 days, we're going to see some dramatic change in the period. Good, bad, or indifferent, we're going to see some major changes. But I believe that this administration, and I'm saying it here, and I probably say it in the prediction show, you're going to see that this administration is looking to leave a legacy forever. They want to leave something behind. They want to, like I said, this is really more in regards to Trump's legacy once he leaves office. Really boils down to it, man. And good for him. I mean, he won the election. And these things could be good for the United States. Thinking outside the box. Things that we haven't thought about in such a long time. Adding another state. I mean, this means more ghost stories, more places for people to visit, for the economy to change, to have not to be waiting in border crossing lines. Or maybe that changes. Maybe there is no border on Canada anymore. And maybe it's just a quick swipe. Who knows? I mean, these are all things that can change, that could be beneficial for Canada and the United States. The resources stimulating their economy. And what about the bad things this could do? This could tax resources for the United States, tax the military strength of the United States, covering this much more land. How does the United States continue to work in co-op with Canada's military, Air Force, Navy? How does the United States play into that? So all things that I thought would be, all things to consider in regards to these types of things. Yeah, I mean, very, very fun tweet. And I know in the past when I've done shows like this, just get on the whim and just go. Last time I think I did a live show like this, we've done a few of them, but the ones that have really just take the cake were like the pandemic, when we thought that Donald Trump was heading to the hospital, just different times then, right? Just different times. 775-990-5151. You can send messages via Facebook, YouTube Live, and Twitch Live if you'd like. You can watch us live. Well, you can watch us live. You are watching this live. But yeah, you can go download the podcast for the prediction show by going to my website, onairmario.com, and click on podcast, and you can download and become subscribe to the podcast, or go to your favorite podcasting platform and search US Phenomenon with Mario Magana. Pretty easy. Search my name and you'll find it. All right. Yeah, I was taken back by this, sitting there, watching, a football game, and then I see these tweets, or I see these posts, and then, see it on the nightly news, running on the social, platforms and whatnot, and trying to stay on top of everything. And I was like, wow, this is quite interesting to me. That, Donald Trump basically, kind of mocking Trudeau and kind of going through and, just kind of putting these things out there. Now, will they come to fruition? We're going to find out really quickly if this is something that's going to happen. Do Canadians want this? Do they want to be a part of the United States? What does that do for healthcare in Canada? What does that do for healthcare in the United States? Do you see a lot of people running from the United States to Canada for services? Because their Canadian healthcare system is quite different, vastly different than the healthcare system in the United States. Does that tax their resources? Does that change how that looks for them? Things to think about, I mean, I just don't see it happening. Excuse me. I just don't see it happening. but anything's possible. As we get ready to wrap things up here from the Pacific Northwest, I'd like to thank you for hanging out with us this evening and watching. Thank you for our guest who sent us text messages. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, or Twitch Live, thank you for hanging out with us and watching us this evening. It's always fun to get to hang out and do a quick show. All right. For my entire team, Mark Christopher Somia, for my entire team, Mark Christopher, Sophia Magana, and myself, Mario Magana, be sure to look up at the sky because you never know what you might see. Good night.